Everybody, my name is Donna, also known as Donna Janelle, CEO and founder of Parenting with a Purpose. Our strive here at the podcast is to reach every home, whether it's single moms, married, single dads, whatever it is, foster parents, whatever, just bringing the ownership and responsibility and nobility back into parenting. Get comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. All parents need some help and guidance, and I'm just here to be a guide. Hey everybody, welcome back to Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna and Janelle. You know where I strive and aim to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. I'm going to repeat that. Responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. I know some of y'all out there thinking, beauty back into parenting, what? Say what? I know, it's a hard knock life out here for parents. It's very challenging, and it's kind of hard to see the beauty when there's so many different challenges as we're trying to raise our children to be successful, right? But, you know, parents are the bows and our children are arrows, and they will land wherever we send them. May not be today, may not be tomorrow. Hey, it might not even be the next 2 to 3 years. But eventually, if we give them the right tools, if we close them and we don't send them outside naked, they will land where we aim them. Even if it's not in the way we want to aim them, but they will land and end up being successful. Trust me, I know. So you know, I got a story. Always got a story about the one that tests my inner gangster. But it's more of a question for people, right? You know, back in the day when we were growing up, you know, if we were told to do a chore, we would make sure that our chores was done before our parents got home. If they told whatever they told us to do, even if it was like an hour before they got home, we might have been chilling for like 8 hours off of school, chilling at home and just doing whatever we do, right? But we knew about what time our parents would be home, so we would make sure that we would do everything that we need to do. These kids these days don't do that. And I know it's not just my kids, because I had a conversation today with one of my classmates, and we were just talking about kids they don't even care, they don't think. Now, you know, I used to, you know, making sure, the other thing is that they'll use your stuff, right? And then they leave the evidence instead of just putting it up. Like if I borrow something to my mom's or my dad's or whatever, they would never know that I touched it, or they would know that somebody touched it, but they never would know who was, when, and how. These kids, they are so bold with it now. The one that tested my inner gangster, I had like a whole attitude at 4 o'clock this morning, y'all, and y'all know I'll be trying to calm my attitude down because some things just don't make sense. I told you, I don't know what they thinking, and they don't know what I'm thinking. I think there's literally some type of something is off with the communication with me and my teens. You know, they're about to be 16 this month, y'all. I got 2 about to be 16, got 1 about to be 18, all within the next 30 days. Yes, I hope everybody out there praying for me, because I'm praying for myself too. All right. So I have a Bluetooth, right? Bluetooth speaker in the bathroom, because I try to make sure that none of our phones or anything in the bathroom, because that moisture get into your phone, or your phone drop in the toilet, drop in the shower. I just really try to keep phones. That's one of my rules, keep your phone out the bathroom. So I purchased a Bluetooth. The Bluetooth, right? I listen to it when I'm getting ready. You know, everybody listens to the Bluetooth. The one that tests my inner gangster. So I go in the bathroom 4 o'clock this morning. Mind you, it's spring break, so they're not home. Only the 16-year, only the boy home today, right? The girls aren't. And I go in there at 4 o'clock this morning, go and try to turn my Bluetooth on so I can get in the shower, so I can get up out of there by 5 o'clock, right? I don't see my Bluetooth nowhere. Where is my Bluetooth? All right. Okay, Donna, where's your Bluetooth? Where's your Bluetooth? And I was like, I took a deep breath, y'all. Y'all know I'm telling you, I be having to take a deep breath because I be trying not to like go off. So I took a deep breath and I'm like, all right. I went back in my room, checked to see if my Bluetooth was in there. Now, mind you, it's a good size. It's a pretty good size of a Bluetooth. I go in my room. I knew I didn't put it in my room. I checked. Okay, it's not in there. I go back in the bathroom, y'all. Like, you know, sometimes we don't want to just say the kids did something. I went back in the bathroom. I looked behind the toilet. I looked on the side of the toilet. I know that Bluetooth wasn't there, but I just didn't want to go off. I didn't want to snap. So then I go in the girls' room, both of their rooms. They have separate rooms. So I go in the one that's about to be 18. I go in her room. I don't see the Bluetooth. I go in the one that's about to be 16. I don't see the Bluetooth. Son, he be in the basement. So I'm like, he normally don't touch people's stuff. Only thing he touched without my permission is food. Like, he eats me out of house and home. So I'm like, okay. So I take another deep breath and I go back in my room. I'm telling you, I'm going through it just to go find my Bluetooth because I want to listen to some music while I'm taking a shower. I don't see my Bluetooth. So I text him. I said, listen, in bold, y'all, it was in bold letters. Like, listen, whoever was disrespectful, disrespect is my thing, right? Whoever was disrespectful and removed my Bluetooth out of the bathroom, by the time I get off of my show tonight, my Bluetooth better be back in the bathroom. And guess who it was? The one that tests my inner gangster. I didn't want to blame her at first, right? I didn't want to because it seemed like me and her blame shift all the time. And it was her. So she says, yes, I took it out and it's in my room. Now, mind you, I went in her room and looked for it, couldn't find it. She said, it's in my room. I'm sorry, I didn't put it back. And I was like, listen, I don't have an issue you using my stuff. Just make sure you put it back. So these kids these days are so different than when we grew up because, my parents would never even know I took something or did something because I made sure it went back in the same spot. These kids know. They just do whatever they want to do. And I don't know if it's me or if it's them or if it's me. I don't know what it is. But I know I ain't the only parent out here struggling about this. I know that y'all kids do stuff and you like, what is going on? Why are you touching my stuff? Why you got to touch my stuff, right? All right, I didn't have that issue when they was little. But one of the things that I realized is that, and I'm just going to keep saying this over and over again, I don't own my kids. And I think that's one of the things that's helping me realize that you don't own these kids, Donna. You had these kids, but you don't own them. They got their own minds and thoughts, and we hope that our kids are going to do what we want them to do, the things that we trained them and we taught them. Like last week, we talked about morals and values, right? We hope that was going to be the case, but sometimes, they got their own journey, they got their own mind, and sometimes it doesn't click with ours. So I'm starting to realize I don't own them, and they're going to do what they want to do sometimes, and I'm going to have to be an adult about it. I'm going to have to take a deep breath and try to handle it like a 40-year-old, okay? That's what I'm going to try to do. I want y'all to pray for me. I'm going to pray for y'all. So that's my little spiel. Tonight, we are talking to the one and only Jean-Pierre Brice tonight. Everybody knows him as Uncle P, but he knows I won't call him Uncle P, right?
You didn't call me Uncle P twice. Not to my face, behind my back.
Behind your back, yeah.
Right.
So tonight we're going to get into a conversation of P has an amazing story, a remarkable story from just a whole life transformation. And I really want parents to really get this and understand, because sometimes we think that when we did, how we start is going to be how we finish. Or the trials and tribulations that we've gone through could potentially end us down a road that we can't turn back from. But P's story of transformation, how things that happen in his life and how parenting has helped him look at life a little different and for the better. So P, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Donna? It's nice to be here.
Yeah, and for all y'all who don't know, P is the owner of Cultivate and Mature Positivity,
right.
CMP radio station.
Let's go, man.
That is where Parenting with a Purpose podcast is from. Like, thanks to P, like we here.
Right.
we here. We in the streets now,
Absolutely,
P.
Absolutely.
So I certainly thank you, and I just think your story is remarkable. So, P, what's up?
I don't know. I'm living life, bro. I'm excited for every new day. Right? Every day you wake up, is something new that can happen, something new you're going to learn, right? So I'm just excited for that. I'm excited to have an opportunity to bring something to my community, right? Communication, open up the lanes of communication. I'm not saying they were closed, but they were dying off, right? Everybody was frustrated, everybody was mad, and we were pointing fingers, and let's just have some open dialogue. Let's just talk, right? Yeah. I might say some things that might piss you off, right? But that's how I feel. If I love you, I shouldn't be able to make you mad at how I feel, right? Because I love you. I'll do anything for you. I'll get down on the ground for you and do some things, right? Right. But we have to change, right? And change sometimes is difficult. Change sometimes hurts, right? People. So, knowing that we can't stay here. You know Absolutely. What I mean? Like, can you imagine, like, we were on a ship and we were drowning and you said, I'm not moving where I'm at. I'm going,
you're gonna die.
We can't stay
right.
here. So that's what happens, right? So I'm just excited for the day. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. You feel me? I have nothing but just the utmost respect for everyone, right? I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. I had to learn that because I didn't always, walk with that. Right. I was a mad little boy, bro.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You know, let's talk about that. We're gonna go from yay high to high.
Boy.
Tell us a little bit. I know we had you on the show before talking about a little bit about when your dad passed away when you were 12 and some things that you ended up getting to. But I want to talk about it again because I think it's so important because it kind of like I'm a stronger believer that things that we've gone through in our experiences in our past kind of catapults us into our purpose and our destiny, whether we know it or not. Like, I think that things build us stronger so that we're able to handle, you know, what God has in store for us always. Absolutely. So just listening to your story and kind of know a little bit about your story, I'm like, yeah, you were set up for this.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it appears now, right?
Yeah.
You know, I had a conversation and the man told me, you know, many roads lead you to the same destination. You chose this road for a reason, right? Understand that the things that you feel like you lost or the things that you think you went through only gave you strength, right? And it gave you an opportunity to say, I went through that. I felt that. I felt that pain. So my father died. I was 12 years old, right? I was a happy 12-year-old, right? Like happy, like, you know, super happy. I was being raised to be a minister in a church. You know what I mean? A pastor. My father, you know, he was Catholic, so that's, you know, Jean-Pierre, Brice, right? That was a big thing. On the other side, he was also raising me to be a doctor. You know what I mean? So if the minister thing didn't work out, you could be a doctor. And he used to always tell me, so my father was from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, right? So, you know, he came here when he was young. He started driving taxi cabs. He started working. For as long as I knew my father, he was always working. Okay. Right? He always had a job. He always might have had 2 jobs, right?
Sound like you. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's where I get it from, right? Because, you know, unlike him, he came here at 18. He knew what he wanted, right? He wanted something better, right? I was lost. You know, when my father passed away, you know, I felt like my whole world was stripped from me, right? If it wasn't for my mother and my grandmother and my aunts and my uncles, you feel me? Like I can look back on my life and say everyone that was in my life had an effect on my life. Like touch me in some, not like that, not touch me like that, but touch me in a way that allowed me to grow. Right. And gave me space. They didn't always give me space. Sometimes I took it. You feel me? Just being disrespectful. So I understand, right, how things can just, as a teenager, you're going through, I was 12.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was 12. My dad was, he was gone. He wasn't coming. He was not coming back. Right. And I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was mad. Like, why my father? You know, I'm looking at a friend, his dad drunk over there in the corner. Why not him? Like, why couldn't you take him?
Right.
Like, why does he get, that's how bad I was. Like looking at people's fathers and like, psh, you know what I mean? Like judging people. So, you know, I got angry. I think the day my father died, I went to a carnival, right? I tried to just wipe it away, like it wasn't that big of a deal,
right?
And it was huge, right? I think it was the biggest thing in my life that I can point to right now that really had an effect on who I was at that time. At that point, I was a nerd. I wasn't allowed outside, so I didn't have a whole bunch of friends.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
I wasn't allowed to do things that normal kids were allowed to do. I was in the house, I was reading, or I had a chemistry set in my room. Yeah.
Really?
So my father was a regional sales rep for Philip Morris, right? My mother was a administrative assistant, you know, so they had money. You feel me? They had, so I didn't come from a place of struggle. Even though when I was first born, this is what I'm saying, where my father took us from, where my father and my mother both took us from, right? And when I landed at 12, I didn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? Like money was there. I could do whatever I want. My great-grandmother was very nice. She opened a bank account for me, put money in it. You feel me?
Right.
But I wanted to get my own. You know what I mean? I wanted to get my own money. I wanted to do my own thing. You feel me? And after working, it just didn't add up. So I went to the street, right? It was fun. That's what it was. It was fun. It wasn't, I didn't do it because I needed the money. I didn't do it because I needed the sneakers. I could get the money. I could do.
Right.
I did it because it was fun. And it was actually hurting my mother.
Wait.
Right.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, flag on the play. My mother, she was everything to me when I was younger, right? That's who I went to because my dad was super strict. So me and my mom would always talk. And I remember her sitting on the porch and we were talking and she was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a doctor. You feel me? And I know my dad wanted me to be a preacher. You feel me? So that I want to be a doctor, Mom. I got into an accident when I was younger and broke my leg. And I remember how they fixed my leg up, right? Check this out. My dad comes home from work one day, me sitting on the couch. He's like, all right, I'm tired of this. Get up. So what you mean get up? We lived in the Benjamin Banneker. You know, the long hallways. Remember when Dre said it in the speech, right? The Benjamin Banneker, we lived on the 3rd floor. Long hallways. He said, come on, grab your crutches. We're going out here in the hallway. You're going to walk. I said, walk? He said, yeah, you got to get your leg right. And if you don't strengthen it, you lose it. Ooh, so come on, let's go. Takes me all the way to the end of the hallway, then takes my crutches from me. Walk.
Wow.
Now, in today's day and time, people, oh, man, he's abusive, isn't it? But what he was teaching me that anything that affects you and you allow it to affect you, it will affect you for the rest of your life. Right. So you got to walk through it. If it hurts, it won't hurt tomorrow when you do it. It won't hurt the day after that. So and literally, the doctor said I was going to miss school. I was back in school before the 2nd quarter. Wow. Pins out of my leg. So I walked that whole hallway every day when he came home from work, and I read him the paper like he asked me to. You know what I mean? So that's what my day consisted of, right? So I was always up on current events, sports things. I was sharp, bro. I was real sharp. And I ran outside to hang with people that I'm not going to say they were struggling, right? They didn't have everything, right? And I, me, new to, not having that mean, callous. You feel me? I'm sharing here. Oh, you take this. Oh, you can have this. Or you can do this. You can do that. That didn't make me too many friends. You know what I mean? So I was always hanging out with the older kids. Because the younger kids were just they weren't as advanced as me, and me sitting around them, it just didn't work. So I was hanging out with the older kids. And when my dad died, I moved down to Jeffrey Street. We lived on the east side. And then I moved down to Jeffrey Street because that's where my grandmother was. Okay. And I felt that at that time, my grandmother, she took to me a little bit more, right, when my father passed away. Come here, baby. I love you. You're smart. You're so smart. You can be the janitor or you could be the CEO of a company. Just don't lose the respect that you have for yourself. Oh, wow. And do your job like you're the best person. Like no one else can do it better. And I understood that, right? I didn't understand it then, but I understand that now. You know what I mean? That's why I don't have a problem with coming in here and working every day. I don't have a problem with working the way I work. So that was my life from 12 to like.
Why was you angry with your mom though? What made you like?
The way she took my father's death. I didn't understand it. She was hurt. Okay. My mother was hurt. My mother lost a very special person, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I'm like, I lost my dad, and I lost my husband. I had no plan on burying him. But shit, I lost a father. Like, you can get another husband. Right. I mean, that's just how it was. Yeah. Now, I wasn't lying. She could have. Right. She could have met somebody, married him, and had a whole nother husband. But that's not what she wanted. Right? My grandmother was the same way. My grandfather died in 1973. I never saw my grandma with any man. And everybody always says, man, you don't know what your grandma was doing. I was sleeping in the bed with her. So, I knew she wasn't doing anything crazy. But that's how life was for my family. But yeah, I came from opportunity, right? Abundance. My uncle was a lawyer. My aunt worked for IBM. You met my aunt at the gala. My cousin, that's my god sister. She's like my sister. You feel me? That's who I call on right now when I need somebody to talk to me. You feel me? My sister. You feel me? She's younger than me, but she feels like she's older than me. She always tells me she was the first one out, but she let me go, right? Because I was such a baby. You feel me? Like, so she was like, just go ahead, go. But my family, my cousins. I experienced, a lot of death early on in life, and for me, it wasn't until my grandma died that it really hit me like hard, and I kind of became I'm gonna say it. I became a junkie. I started smoking. I started putting cocaine on my weed. Okay. Crack cocaine on my weed and smoking, like literally. So I smoked crack before. Okay. And I was done. I didn't want to live anymore. And I remember my grandma telling me, she was like, your wake-up call is going to come. is when it comes, just hear it. I just want you to hear it because it's going to change your life. And I ain't, whatever, my mom. I hear you.
Yeah,
you feel me? But
it.
she still loved me. I didn't really want her to know I was hustling, but she figured that out. And then, you know, it was hard. It was hard growing up because I came from people that had, and I was around people that didn't have. I was around people that were struggling. You know, when crack hit, it hit Chester very hard.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody was, you know, either smoking crack
or selling it.
Or selling crack.
Yeah.
And if you wasn't selling crack, you was trying to find out how to get the crack. And if you wasn't trying to find out how to get the crack, you was trying to rob the mother that was selling. So it was that game of cat and mouse that everyone was playing, and I didn't know where I fit in. So I tried everything. You know, I had a gun in my hand. You know, I had crack in my hand. I had weed in my hand. You feel me? Like I went to the plane with the females and doing that stuff. So for me, there was no peace. I didn't really find peace until I opened this radio station. And people don't understand, right? When you have a dream, and I always wanted to be on radio, though. That's my thing, right? I always wanted to do this. I always had a microphone in front of somebody's mouth. I was always talking to somebody. But it never materialized for me correctly, right? I went to college, right? I did a semester in college, and I was like, okay, I can do this. And then my grandma hurt herself, and I came home.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm not going back to school. I can make money. I can get a job. My grandma always had a job. So 12th grade, I was working for First Union Bank.
Okay.
Right? You know, I had the suit and tie on. I was good. You feel me? Like walk up in school. I was in school until 12 o'clock. Had enough credits to do that. They let me go out of school. At school, I was done. After 12 o'clock, go straight to work. I was working basically a full day. You know what I mean? So my grandma made sure I understood, you know, who I was. And I remember one day she dropped me off in front of the high school. She was like, I love you. I was new to the high. I was new to everybody in the city of Chester. Who is this Jean-Pierre?
Right.
Like, where is he from? What is he about? And, you know, people tried me. I let them because I didn't want to be violent. My father always said when you fight somebody, you're not friends. So take his eye out. You feel me? There is no fair in fighting. You feel me? If you have an advantage, if you can grab him by his balls and squeeze, do that. Huh? It's like, you know, you're a warrior. And when you fight, you're fighting a war. Someone is trying to take something from. But see, my father came from that area
I was going to say, we had to think about your father and where he came from. He came from Haiti.
What? Like, no problem. And then cut their toes off. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, right? No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. Like, wait, that seemed a little extreme, right?
But, you know, now I understand what he meant, right? You know, when you fighting, you're constantly fighting and you're fighting a battle, bro. If you leave a person up standing and they don't remember what happened when they fought you, they'll come back again.
Yeah. So
you got to make sure they remember why. Nah, man, I lost this pinky right here fighting Pierre. I ain't fooling with him. You feel me? Like, and that's what happened. So, like,
let me ask you a question. So all right, so at 12, your dad passed away. Then you start going out in the street, start hanging out with people.
Right.
And I think that's very interesting, though, that you came from a good background, right?
Great background.
And then you went to the street to seek something. Like, why? Like, you said one, to make your mom angry because you didn't like how she responded to you that. Right. But then what would the other reason be? Like, just to do something like, because I often wonder how people come from very good households and they end up doing the craziest things.
I think sometimes it's different reasons, right? Everybody has a different reason. I think for me, I wanted a father figure in my life. Okay. I looked up to the men that were out there doing what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And they knew my father, right? They knew the type of man my father was. So a lot of them, they wouldn't fool with me.
Right. Okay.
You feel me? Like, nah, JP, where your grades at? You feel me? They knew how my father was. They knew my father used to run around the Benjamin Banneker and get all the young men in the building downstairs in the laundry room to read.
Okay.
He was the one that was going to Holy Ghost Ukrainian Catholic School and teaching Spanish, and he wasn't even a teacher. Right?
Right.
He was very active in knowing, right? Mm-hmm. What you don't know, don't say you don't know. Go find out. Go look it up, right? You got books, go find it out, right? Don't come here and tell me you don't understand. Go read until you understand. Right. And that whenever I want to go outside, Dad, can I go outside? Write me a write me a one-page story on what's outside. Mm-hmm. By the time I got done, it was dark.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not right. Nope. Huh, take it back. Write it again. I don't understand. What's this about? You want to go outside and play with who? Who do you want to play with? You gonna play by yourself? You can play by yourself right there, right? Mm-hmm. So he was always challenging me to think. You know what I mean? And I lost some of that throughout the years of running the streets and playing around. But one thing he always told me is be aware of your surroundings, and I kept that with me all the time. So if something didn't look right or something was funny, like, yo, I'm out of here.
Right.
Yo, man, where you going? I gotta go home, bro. I ain't got time for that. Yo, man, you missed it, man. I mean, came through here. Da, da, da. And it's like, yeah, that's
that was the point.
Right.
That's the point.
You know, that weird feeling that I felt in my gut. And I felt that a lot, right, when I was in the street. A lot. When I say a lot, I felt it a lot. And it was like, damn, all right, I gotta go. All right, I'm out. Pierre, man, you always missing when it did.
That's the point. I think one of the things that I hear from you, and I kind of relate a little bit too, is that when you lose something or your life changed instantly, and as a kid, you don't know how to handle that. No, like, you become angry, you become frustrated, you become like, yo, because I remember, you know, I was told I was always a really good kid, but then at some point, like, something switched, and I became angry. I'm fighting teachers, throwing chairs at teachers, running down the hall, like, doing crazy stuff. It was my dad had left. My mom, my dad had separated. Now, I'm seeing a lot of, you know, they had dealt with a lot of stuff in their marriage, you know, but when my dad left, I was daddy's girl.
Right.
And that something triggered me to become very angry and start doing stuff that didn't even make sense. Like, why would you do stuff?
If you cared, you would be here.
Yeah,
right?
like.
So why should I stop? I remember going to the mall, 9th grade year. I was at the academy, and the minister of my church, Reverend Cheryl, took me to the mall. He was in the gym working out. I was in the mall stealing.
You just be doing stuff that don't make no sense, right?
I know, literally, I was stealing what I needed. I needed Wu-Tang. I needed the purple tape. You feel me? Like, I needed, now I need headphones. That was my problem. I went to Boscov's. I was cool in the wall. I tore them apart.
Oh, I was going to say, so you went to...
I went there, listen. So I used to have this little razor. I'll cut the joint off right in my hand, you feel me? Throw it down, put the joint in my pocket. As long as it ain't go off, I wasn't look like I was stealing nothing. I looked like I was reading. Or I was looking. Right. They didn't think that my with schoolboy glasses on was in there stealing anything. They was looking at the other kids that was walking through there. I walked out of there with like 3 tapes and a Walkman. I was like, now I need a pair of headphones. I'm gonna go to Boscov's. That was the worst mistake I ever made.
You're going to Boscov's. Definitely was the worst mistake you ever made.
They had cameras. And I was like, oh, yep, never come here again.
Yeah, Boscov's.
Right.
But I think sometimes parents don't realize the trauma that happens to children once one parent either deceased or even just out of it. Because it's almost even when a parent leaves the household and they're dead. It really is. I literally felt like my dad was dead.
Absolutely. You got to call him and go crazy and get in touch with him, and he don't want to stop by. He ain't coming through. Yeah. It's like, why you don't love me?
Exactly.
And I had that issue, right? Love, right? Why don't you? Why did my dad have to die?
Right.
Like why did he leave me? What did he leave me with that was valuable enough for God to say, okay, you did your job? You know what I mean? And I was always asking myself that question. But then when I realized it, I was upstate and I was looking out the window. And I remember being in the Banneker looking out the window and always asking my dad, can I go outside? He was like, no. Now, while I was going upstate, I was running into different people. You feel me? And it was like, yo, man, I remember your dad from the Banneker. I remember your dad. So my dad was on my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, he was right. I was looking out the window, and then I looked out. I said, oh, my God. So the same 3 kids that was outside when I wanted to go outside were upstate.
Whoa.
And I remember just feeling like it got cold in the cell, and it's like, didn't I tell you? I said, what you say, Sally? He said, nigga, I ain't say nothing. He said, what's wrong with you? You all right? I said, yeah. I said, damn, man. I told you. I said, Sally, stop playing with me, bro. Like, what is you down there talking about? He said, bro, I'm not saying nothing, and you tripping. And he stood up and he looked at me. He's like, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm all right. I said, yeah, I'm all right. I laid down. I cried. They called yard out, the doorbell buzzed open. I didn't move. I stayed on that bed. I was crying. Like I finally realized, like, yeah, he was telling me the right thing. And I was running from it, right? Because when he died, I just wanted to go outside. Like, that's it. Like, I wasn't worried about he was gone or nothing. I just wanted to go outside, not understanding that the things I was doing, you feel me, was going to affect me one day. It was going to catch up to me, right? And when it finally caught up to me, it was like, all right, one and a half years upstate, I'm going to go. No problem. I'll be home. You know, my mom crying and she upset, she mad. I'm like, no, it's not your fault. But in the back of my head, I'm like, yes, it is. It's your fault, right? You should have sent me to Malvern. I had a 75% paid scholarship to Malvern. And she was like, no, you ain't going to Malvern. No, I ain't paying them money. I was like, okay, then you don't care about me. You don't love me, so fuck it. I'm going to go to Chester High. I wreaked havoc in Chester High. Not beating people up, just tearing the school up.
Right. Because you still was angry, though. You had a lot of anger in you,
Absolutely.
and that's what happened.
Absolutely. And I never wanted to fight, right? Everybody always said, Pete, why you ain't fighting? I never wanted to fight because I never had that fighting spirit. You know what I mean? To be beating people up. I gained that over time.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, it took till I was probably like 19 for my first real fight. And when I knocked him out, I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's how easy it is? Yeah, everybody's not easy like that, though. But I didn't realize it, you know, who I was. You know what I mean? Because I was great then. And if I would have just stayed in school, you feel me, and did what I was supposed to do, who knows where I'll be right now.
So what made you, so you went upstate, you know, you did your dirt out here in the streets, you became a street man, and then you went upstate. What made you, because clearly you don't have any illegal ties right now to anything. No. So what made you say, nah, this ain't for me? Like, was it in the cell when you was thinking about when your dad was talking to you? What made you really kind of change your life, though?
No, because I came home and, you know, I had to figure it out. Right? I had to figure out how to feed 4 people. I had to figure out how to feed 5 people, me and my wife at the time and my 3 kids. Wow. So for me, it was, I'm not doing that anymore. And that was selling cocaine. I'm not even touching that white bitch because she ain't calling the cops on me. I'm sorry for cursing on your show. But that's how I felt. I'm not even touching that white girl. You feel me? They call the cops on me every time I touch her. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. So I came home for a minute. I got 2 jobs. I was working. You feel me? I had to save my money up. And then it hit me. I said, ain't no weed out here. I'm going to sell weed. That's what I'm going to do, right? So, and everybody like, how you make, it just so happens that, you know, when I started, you know, it was a little bit, you know, half pound here, you feel me? But it grew, you feel me? And then it was like, and it's crazy. The person that I got the money from, he always tell me, he's like, damn, bro, like, and I love him, you feel me? Because he looked out for me, because I looked out for him. You feel me? He's like, before you went in, bro, you made sure I was straight. So here, I want to get this to you. I was like, damn, bro, appreciate it. Like, what you want? He's like, nah, I just want you to be good. So instantaneously, I just jumped in it and bought what I needed to buy. Now, things happen in between that, but I ended up going to Mississippi to work on an oil spill. And I went down there, and I want to say I worked from August. No. I'm going back. May until August in the summer in Mississippi. Oh, right? Hot. Working on the oil spill. This 2010. And met some people down there, met a couple people, and met some real good people. But I ended up going to Arizona. And when I said it was cheaper there, oh, yeah, $200 a pound, and it was green, oh, yeah, yep, send that back. All those things happen, right? I went through all of it, right? And I come home, and I look at it, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. But I had a little, I grabbed a little bit because my man was like, you want this because this is what everybody about to start smoking on for real. Right. Loud.
Oh, yeah.
When I brought it back,
food and,
I had 10 pounds of Reggie and a half a pound of loud. When I said a half a pound went before the 10 pounds, I said, oh, yeah, I got to go back.
Wow. I
got to go back. So it was a constant back and forth to Arizona, you feel me, and coming back here. And I think I made a good amount of money. I was able to do things for my family and make sure everybody was straight. I didn't have to work. I stopped working. You feel me? It was all hustle. You feel me? It was all running. And I think when I began to think that I wasn't gonna live past 37, I said my dad died at 37. I started drinking heavy. You feel me? I wasn't smoking, but I was drinking. You know, and I just got down again. But you couldn't tell I was down, right? Had the car, you know, all the business. But I was depressed. I was hurting, right? And no one knew why. And it my 37th birthday, I had created 4 children.
Okay.
Outside of my marriage.
Oh, okay. Flag on the play. Let's go back. All right. So, okay.
Right. 4 children outside of my marriage, by 3 different women. The oldest one, I didn't really think was mine, so I really didn't pay too much attention. Mm-hmm. But he's come back in my life recently, right? When he called me dad, I'll start crying. You know what I mean? Because I was that age when my dad died. Mm. You know what I mean? And it's like, how can I ignore him for 12 years? I felt bad, bro. Like I was hurting. You feel me? And everybody was like, well, you don't know if it's look at him, bro. He looked just like my mom. You feel me?
Right.
Like, so you know, that's my fault. That's due to my ignorance, right? And I don't know how long it will take for him to forgive me for not being in his life. But, you know, whatever I have to do, I will try my best to do. You know, I'm not going out and buying him sneakers every week, but, you know,
right.
We could call, you could talk, you know, come pick you up, get your haircut. If I can't take you to get your haircut, I'll send the money to your mom. Go get your haircut. Right. So, you know, when I saw all of that and I turned 37 and I looked behind me and I said, looking in the rear view, I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm not going to be able to sell weed for the rest of my life. Now, either I stop now, or I go upstate, or I figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. So I was always looking at Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Like, see, yeah, I'm going to hit them up, right? I'm going to go there. I'm going to do that, right? And I called them a couple times, and I was supposed to go up there and see it, but it never matriculated. It never happened the way I wanted it to happen. So I let it die. But when I turned 37, you know, I was in the house, I was drinking, and me and my ex-wife were arguing. I was like, man, I'm out of here. And I went outside. I pulled up on 21st Street, East 21st Street. We were outside, and everybody was out there. And I was just looking. I didn't get out the car, but I was just looking. I was like, okay. And at the time, I was still selling. You feel me? Now I had moved up to Molly. It was Molly. It was all the party drugs, right? Okay. I had it. You feel me? Like, I'm the person you need to get with if you're trying to get on, right? So I was frustrated though. I was still upset, right? So I popped a Molly. You feel me? Went in the house and went with my wife. Stayed there with my wife. Got up the next morning and I didn't want to hustle no more. Right? It was like, no. But I kept on doing it, right?
Right.
About the summertime, going out with my cousin. We said, we're going to go drink. We're going to the bar. All right, cool. Went there. He said, yo, we're going to go to RS. I was like, yeah. All right. And typically, I don't go to the RS, right? For the simple reason that it's in Ridley, and if I get drunk, I don't want to get pulled over. I'm always, you feel me? Like it always happens
Ridley,
like that.
you going to jail or something like that.
Right. And I never really drove without my stuff. So I was always dirty, always riding dirty. You see me rolling, yeah. They trying to catch me riding dirty, right? So, I got jumped. I got kicked in the face several times, almost lost my eye. But more than anything, I realized that I wasn't supposed to be there. I accepted accountability right then and there. And when you accept accountability and you out there in the streets, you're done. Right, because you're saying it's my fault, right? You're saying the reason why this happened is because I did this.
Yeah.
If I would have done something else, I wouldn't have even been here. So people don't want to hear that in the street, bro. They don't want to hear accountability. Good job taking accountability. No, they don't care about that, right? You know, you in the street, you ain't supposed to be taking no accountability for nothing. You're supposed to let shit fly and then go get mad at somebody for doing something to you. So the people that were around me were looking at me like, I knew right then it was over. So I had to sit. I sat in the house, had the eye patch on, and was just trying to figure out where I was going. And I spent a lot of time, man, in the house listening to Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, you feel me? Like, these were the artists that I was listening to. And they, too, had a dream, right? That's what I took from listening to their music. They, too, had a dream, and guess what? Their dream came true. So why the fuck my dream can't come true?
Right.
I went to therapy. I went to therapy with my wife, trying to work things out, trying to get things, you feel me, amicable. After therapy was over, she was like, we just co-parenting, right? That hurt. But it is what it is, right? So I ran outside again. Now I got the Molly, I got the alcohol, you feel me? Like, I stopped selling the weed. I'm falling back from that. I'm slowly coming out of that. But I remember I was hanging out with my man, and his cousin was with us. And she was beautiful, bro. Like, looking at her, I was like, wow, man. Like, she was young, right? She was younger than me. And I knew her brothers, and I just felt bad. You feel me? Like, the whole situation was just like, But she got in the car, we got to talking, me and him and her. We were talking about our dreams, what we wanted to do, everything. And I told her, I said, I want to open a radio station. She was like, you could do it. Like, you're never too old to dream. Bang. Literally, like, that was the first time any woman ever told me I could do anything but sell drugs. That was the first time any woman, other than my grandmother or my mother or my aunt or my cousin, right, relation, believed in me. Bro, that gave me all the fuel I needed. Right? When men say they need support, they don't mean I need you to do it for me. They just clap for me.
Right.
Just be supportive. Just sit there and say, go ahead, baby, do it. You got it. Because now he going to run through that brick wall. But without that support, he runs to that brick wall, he fall down.
Right.
If you don't have somebody telling him how great he can be and what he can do and what he can accomplish, he ain't going to get past that brick wall. So at that point, when she told me that, bro, I felt like it was the best thing anyone had ever told me in my life, bro. I felt like I hit the lottery, and I did it. Wow. I went, it was a radio station here in the city. Shout out to Purple Queen, No Q Tommy. Went and talked to them. And I was like, I want to do radio. And it was already here, so I could just do a radio show. I didn't have to own a radio station. And we were good, and we were doing everything. Then they moved to Philly. And I don't speak Philadelphia. I don't. They tell me go talk to the mayor. I'm like, I got my own mayor.
Right.
City council. I got my own city council. They come up here and talk about the potholes. I got my own pothole. You know what? I had a brother that was working at the radio station. He was a DJ for a while. I started my own show, Revolutionary Minds, and he came through. He guest DJ. He said, man, whatever you need, man, hit me up. We can talk.
Hey.
Chucky Johnson is the one that told me to hit him up. I was like, man, I'm not calling him. Like, for what? Like, no. He's like, bro, he said whatever you need. So call him and tell him you need a partner, bro. Like, stop playing. Like, what's wrong with you? Call him. So I called him. We met. We agreed. Gave him I had everything already written down. Cultivate mature positivity. Like, it wasn't something that we had to come up with. I had the name, cmpradio.net. I had everything. And he was like, yeah, I can fuck with that. And we did it.
Your mouth is just nasty. You know that.
I'm sorry. I apologize. He was like, yeah, we can mess with that, right? And we did, right? We opened up 9/2/17, which kind of reverses 12/22/79, right? Without the other two, right? But that my birthday was in that 9/2/17. Then the year my dad died was in that joint. You feel me? Like my sister's birthday, which is 2/7, right? I just look at numbers. 12 was in there. You feel me? Like my dad's. The only thing that was missing was my mom. You feel me? And that was the day my dad died. This is April 24th. So we coming up on the anniversary, right? And he'll be going for 32 years.
Wow.
Right.
32 years.
32 years.
Let me ask you a question, P.
Go ahead.
So when you were out there doing your street stuff and you had the kids and everything, did you at any time saying, okay, I'm going to put my kids on. They're going to be out here selling the Molly. They're going to be selling the drugs. Like, at any time, did you like, this about to be a franchise? We about to do some stuff here?
No, the first moment I saw it was another reason why I was, my son always counted the 5s and 1s, right? Mm-hmm. And he was over there counting the money, balled it up, put it in his pocket. And I thought, the only thing I can give to him is death.
Wow.
Like right now, me to have my son to think that this is what he's going to do, the only thing that he can do that I can't do is die in the streets. No, I'm not having that. I'm done. You feel me? Like it was so many things that just was telling me, like, get out. Like, don't continue to do this. Because I never really did it for anything until I had to do it for money. Right. You feel me? Like at first I was just hustling just to say, oh yeah, I got a pack. Oh yeah, I got this. Oh yeah, I can do that. Oh yeah, that ain't nothing. I mean, I got it. Mm-hmm. Then it became something that I had to do because I had to take care of my family. Right. So then my attitude changed with it. You know what I mean? Like before I was cool with the bull shorting me. Yo, man, what's up? Stop playing with me.
The other side came out. You just didn't really know that
real
was in
quick,
there.
right? And I had to catch
the Haitian side came out of you.
I had to catch myself a few times. You know, like one thing about me, man. If I know your mother, if I ever see your mother or your aunts or anybody related to you, your sister, I'm not gonna hurt you, bro.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and a lot of people took that as a weakness, and it wasn't until my cousin told me, man, that's a strength, bro. Yeah. You feel me? Because the fact that you care about people, the fact that your heart is so big and you care about people and you wear it on your sleeve, that's not a weakness, bro. Yeah. You feel me? A lot of people wish they had that much compassion in them to sit there and say, man, I know your sister, bro. I'm not going to take it there with you. Man, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to rob you. I'm not going to do anything to you to make you feel any type way. You feel me? Like, so that was hard, bro.
Because I often wonder sometimes where I see people who, you know, it's just in the family, like they keep hustling and the kids hustle and the grandkids, that's like over and over again. It's like at some point, like, do we think that it has to stop somewhere? So you saying basically, you know, seeing your son counting those 1s and 5s, you was like, wait, hold up. You already had stuff in your mind talking about you need to get out, but that was that would you say that was the real the last straw maybe, or like something that said, nah, this ain't what it is?
Yeah, that was it. That was it for me. Yeah. It was nothing else I needed to see other than my son sitting there counting those 1s, bro. It was a wrap. It was over. Like I can't do this. Like what am I doing? Like this is
I think sometimes our kids, you know, we'll be doing stuff in life and then we thinking, because sometimes we don't realize how things affect our kids, right? Mm-hmm. We just like, oh, it's about me. I need to do this, that, and the other. And then kids come along and they start changing your mind. You're like, wait a minute, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this now. You know, I remember when I first, when I first had my daughter, like before I had her, I used to curse all the time. I was such an angry person. I mean, like, you know how I don't do the cursing now, but pig, I used to curse like, if you looked at me, I would have cursed at you. I would have cursed at your grandmother, your mother, I was such a terror and angry. But once I had my daughter, like, I didn't want her to be using that language or anything. So I off the rip, I stopped cursing.
Yeah, my son was the greatest gift I have ever received in my life. Mm. And I'm not saying my daughters aren't, because they are, but you put a woman out in the world, she'll be cool. Like a man, if she's good enough, a man to take care of her, right? If she's on her game, right, she'll figure out how to survive. But men is different. Ain't nobody gonna take care of you but you. You feel me? And if don't nobody put nothing good into you, you can't take nothing good out.
Man, can we say that part again right there? If
nobody puts anything good into you and pours anything good into you, you can't take anything out. You can't withdraw anything. So as a man, if you out there, you can't withdraw anything, you're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated. Mm-hmm. You're going to be mad. You're going to hurt somebody, right? Then you go shoot somebody, you go do something to somebody, you rape somebody because you don't have nothing. Ain't nobody give you nothing. So I feel sorry for those people, bro. I do. You feel me? And if it wasn't for what I went through, I wouldn't have the capacity to do the job that I do today. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Talking to kids and getting kids to understand that they are possible. Not your dad. Let's not worry about your dad. Let's put your dad off to the side, right? Who are you? Do you know how possible you are? Right? Do you know? And he said it at the award gala. You know how special you are to make it.
Yeah.
Out of all the 2 million sperm that swam to that egg, you know how special you are to make it to that point, bro. To be here.
Yeah.
Right. That's a triumph in itself. Right. So you are special. You do have a purpose. You're supposed to be here. Let that purpose out. You feel me? And that purpose ain't selling drugs. That person ain't robbing nobody. That purpose ain't getting mad at somebody for talking to your girl or getting mad for somebody stepping on your sneakers. That purpose is what you dream about. It might seem like a nightmare now because you don't understand how to get it. But once you start working on getting it, bro, it all makes sense. It all comes together. I didn't know how to run none of this stuff. I'm talking about none of it, bro. None of this equipment. I didn't know how to do none of this stuff. YouTube University taught me everything.
Oh, man, I love YouTube University.
And then when we got the stuff, I was in here, bro. Like, in here. Like, first year, bro, that's where I was. What you talking about? I lost my apartment for the radio station. I lost my car for the radio station. I lost parts of my relationship that I can't get back because of the radio station. You feel me? Like, I lost a lot to have this. So when I say, bro, sacrifice is one of the biggest things you got to be okay with. Like, you got to be okay with sacrificing, bro, because if you're not okay with sacrificing, you don't really want nothing.
Right. You know, I often say this quote, and I use this all the time. Denzel Washington says that ease is a greater burden to society than hardship.
Boy.
Yeah.
Ease. Having the easy.
Yeah, it's a greater burden.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, like.
So me looking at my son, he counting all the money. I don't want you to have it easy. I don't want you to think this comes easy, bro. Do you know how much I've had to fuss and fight and scrap and spit and get spit on?
Right.
You feel me? Like, that's real. And the only thing I can give you right now, if I gave him this, the only thing I could give him is death, bro.
Right. I think it takes a special person to really think about, like, listen, to say I'm giving you death, like, that's a wake up call right there. Like, this is the only thing I can do for you.
Because I've already see, it's like the kid is supposed to be greater than you.
Right.
I've already done it all, bro.
Yeah.
I've already been there. I've already been in the greatest parts, except for having a room full of money. Like, I've already done it. So the only thing I can give you that was close to me is death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not passing that down to you, bro. I'm not passing these fears and these nightmares down to you, bro. I still had that nightmare about waking up in a big-ass room. You feel me? And there's nothing but convicts in that joint. You feel me? Like,
right.
I didn't like going to Graterford, bro. Stripping down and getting hosed down. That was the most.
I think.
Oh, can I go home now? I learned my lesson. I'll never do it again.
Right now, I quit.
Even after all that stuff, I still came home and I still did it again.
Right. But it had to take something to, like, really change your mind completely, though.
Getting kicked in the face.
Yeah. I mean, almost losing the eye. That's enough. I ain't gonna be able to see.
And at that time, I felt like I deserved it. I was on my knees when it happened. It was like, bro, you fell down to your knees and put your hands up. You didn't even block your face.
Did you fight back?
I was drunk.
Right.
Like, I'm talking about Guinness and Jameson. That's what I used to drink, because don't nobody else drink Guinness. So I could pull up to the block with a six-pack of Guinness and a big bottle of Jameson. Don't nobody want to drink it. I'm drinking, man, what is you drinking, man? Don't nobody drink that. I'm going to be drunk.
Right.
You're going to be frustrated.
So do you think, so P, you got 8 kids?
Yeah.
8 kids. How old is your oldest?
21. 21, 19, 17, 11, 10, 8, and Jordan, 3.
Wow.
Right. Twins. The twins are 8.
Yeah. So what having all the life experiences that you had at such a young age too, like, you still young. You are young.
You say so. I don't feel it.
Like your age. I mean, people live in P. I'm in nursing. I see people up at 100, 110. Like, people live a long life.
No, I don't live that long.
But what would you say for parents out there who, because where we from. We from the city where, we don't see a lot of positivity.
No, you don't.
You really don't. And even after years of growing up here, it really is few far in between, right? There's some good people who are doing some great things in the community, but at the same time, there's still some hustlers. There's still some, some things like that. So what would you tell any parents who, want to change their life or should change their life for their, not just for become a good person, but
go to therapy.
Go to therapy. Okay.
Absolutely. Talk to someone that's not your friend. Talk to somebody that's not on the other side of the bottle. Mm-hmm. Talk to somebody that's not going to placate you and tell you right. Talk to somebody that's going to call you out on your shit. 'Cause that's what my therapist did for me. Mm-hmm. Right? That's exactly what he did for me. And he sent me, made me leave him with homework. He said, go look up an internet radio station. Right? Go look up how much it costs to start it. Figure that out. And come back and tell me. I said, well, don't cost that much. He was like, well, start it. Well, I heard there's already one in Chester, so I don't want to step on nobody's shoes. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Yeah. But once they left, bro, the market was open. So the moment they moved out, I was thinking about, all right, where my radio station going to go? Mm-hmm. You feel me? Looking at different locations. I didn't have the money to do that and keep it. Now, I might have had the money to get some equipment and different things like that, but to keep it, no. So I hit somebody up that might have had some expendable income. Yeah. And we were cool up until we weren't. And I ain't got nothing but love for him, like literally, because if we didn't come into contact, then my dream wouldn't have been able to be fulfilled. You feel me? Like, so I appreciate you. And I'm going to fight for this drink. I work every day for this drink.
Right. And I just imagine, like, maybe, I don't know if your kids say it or may not say it, but they see your hard work and stuff. And sometimes kids seem like they don't appreciate it because that's just what kids do. But I think
later on in life?
Yeah, later on, like.
I didn't appreciate how hard my dad worked.
I know, right?
My dad graduated college when he was about 32, 31. He graduated Temple University, right? I remember going up there. He might have been younger than that, right? But,
like, kids don't understand and really appreciate in the midst of, just like a lot of times we don't understand and appreciate stuff while we in the midst of it. It's kind of, then you look back, you be like, yo.
Like, damn, I did all that?
Yeah,
shit, thanks for letting me know. You feel me? But
right.
That's real.
So one of the things that before we close out, I wanted to talk about, so just thinking about how your life experiences, again, from the transition of your dad at 12 years old, going to jail, hustling, doing all that stuff, now owning your own radio station, and really recently just was awarded the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I think that's just phenomenal because that's not stories that you hear, though. We don't really hear stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We hear that, it become generational, right? Things become generational and, oh, yeah, I remember your dad used to hustle. Oh, you out here doing it now, too. Or, your dad used to be a liar. Like, we always, for some reason, remember all the bad stuff that people do, and because it trickles down generation to generation, but it has to stop somewhere. So I think just hearing your story and knowing that, listen, because every time I talk to you, that you always talking about your kids, though. You be like, my kids, Jordan be here sometimes, like, just to think about, like, there was a time where, those 18 months in jail, right, and you wasn't around your kids, like, I know you had to feel like the worst, like.
I felt like a failure. I left my daughters in a vulnerable spot. I left my wife at the time in a vulnerable spot.
Right.
And I wasn't able to leave them with much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But what I left them with, they were able to use for them.
Right.
Right? And send me a couple $, when you can. Mm-hmm. I felt like a loser. I felt like, I dropped the ball. So when I came home, and I really felt like a loser because I was an addict, bro. I was constantly smoking weed, and I was constantly dipping weed. I smoked 3-time losers. I did everything, bro. Right. And I think that kind of that messed my psyche up, my brain, because I never was, when I was out here, I wasn't able to think, like really think about what I wanted. Right. You know what I mean? It was just, I'm just trying to get high. So it was the next high, the next high, the next high, the next high, the next high. A couple $, all right, here, the next high, the next high. So, when I came home, I said, all right, I ain't smoking no weed. You feel me? I'm going to cut that out. Because weed, with me, only tastes good if it got cocaine on it. And that's crazy. So I knew I'm not going to do that, right? So I had to get my life together. Yeah. And I did. I gained a lot of weight. but I got my life together, right?
But you're still here though, because you
Absolutely,
ain't.
absolutely, absolutely.
I think sometimes, I'm a strong believer that our life experiences really catapults us into where our purpose and our destiny is. And just to know that even, because sometimes it's easier to go back to something you used to do because that was guaranteed money, that was a guaranteed thing. But there's something different when you really work for something and work hard.
You
and
feel better. You value your money. When you work hard for your money, you value your money. Yo, I'm not going to be wasting money on sneakers. And listen, sneakers, bro, like beyond sneakers. Like beyond sneakers, like too many pairs. I ain't gonna never have that many feet in my life, right? For the amounts of sneakers that I have. But that's what I was in. I was into glasses and watches and sneakers. Mm-hmm. So when I came home from jail, I said, all right, I have an addictive personality.
Wow, recognizing that is
because I was chasing first. When I came home, I wasn't getting high, so I was chasing females. So it was constant, that constant interaction. You feel me?
Right.
Like, and then, that didn't work out too well. So now I went from chasing females to, chasing sneakers and chasing glasses and buying glasses. I remember at one time I had 15 pairs of glasses. What the hell I need 15 pairs of glasses for? I'm not going to wear all them glasses, but I wore them. You feel me?
Right.
This glass went with these sneakers. Them glasses went with this shirt. You feel me? And I didn't know that I had an addictive personality till I, started going to the casino. Right? And it was like, yo, I feel like I'm addicted to this shit. You feel me? Like, I feel like, no matter what happens, like, so let me find something else to be addicted to. And that's where the radio station came from. And like I said, if I didn't have an addictive personality, I wouldn't have been here in the radio station trying to I wouldn't have been arguing with people when they tell me come home and I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out how to make this camera and everything work. I'm trying to figure out the best app to use. Right? Because when we first started, we was using some little small camera, right? And it didn't work the way I wanted it to work. So I was always trying to figure out the next move. When they came out with this app right here, I was like, bet. Right. There it is. It's simple. You feel me? Let me get it. Let me get the equipment that work with it. And you have those people that come into your life to assist you. They're not coming to hurt you. They're coming to assist you. Everybody always say, man, you always opening the door for people. You always letting people in. You always telling people they can come back. Absolutely.
I think the seeds we sow will produce much fruit, right?
Absolutely.
It's what kind of seeds are we sowing? I think when you sow good seeds, you're gonna
get good fruit.
You're gonna get good fruit. You sow bad seeds,
you're gonna get
some bad fruit.
Right.
So I think and that's the same thing. Like I think in parenting, like what we do to our kids, the seeds that we sow in our kids, they're gonna produce fruit, right? Yeah. Is what kind of fruit are they gonna produce? That's the question. So a lot of things that we do in our life. Really, because it's not about what we just say to our kids. It's like how we living before and what are we doing? What kind of fruit are we showing? Because if I see a fruit on that tree that fruit is rotten and everything, I ain't trying to be like you. No, I'm not. That's gonna make my stomach hurt. I don't want that fruit. But if I see a fruit that's coming out the tree that's not just looking good but tastes good too, like it's a really good fruit because it's produced from an amazing seed. And I think that's in parenting what we have to. I think one of the other things that I always think about in parenting is like what we do really, really kind of set the precedence of where our kids can go in life, And I feel like stopping what you were doing, selling drugs or whatever you was doing, and your kids were able to see you stop that though, because your son was counting with you, right? We're counting his own money right there. So he see you go from one lifestyle to another to this cultivating mature positivity, right?
We would ride through the city. That would everybody always say, man, everybody, right? We would ride through the city, stop. Every time I would talk to somebody, they give me money, they would give my son a couple of dollars. So he would go in the house with money. So anytime I was leaving out, Dad, I'm going with you. Mm-hmm. He'd come in the house, break it down with his sisters. He would share with his sisters and everything. But for me, just seeing him, right, and understanding what he could be, possibly, that killed me. Yeah. And it was like, no, I can't do that. Yeah. Right? So changing was the best thing I could do for myself and my family, right? Coming up with this idea to have a radio station in the city that talks about the positive news. I don't share the murders. I don't talk about, the bad things, right? If we're going to talk about the bad things, I need both parties that were involved with the bad thing to be here, right? Because we're going to try to resolve the issue. You feel me? Or have an understanding about the issue. Right. And if we can't come to a resolve or we can't come to an understanding, the show won't never go live. Because I'm going to talk to you before the show. Like, listen, this is what happened. Explain it to me. right? You explain it to me now. Give me the truth. You know what I mean? And people, you could read between two people having an argument and say, all right, man, yeah, he a little too much, she a little too much. They both a little too much. You feel me? They both lying. You feel me? When people get loud and they pick their head up and they get to going like that, they're trying to intimidate you, and there's a reason. What they're saying isn't true. Because a person that's telling the truth, you ever had somebody tell you the truth, they ever yell it at you?
No.
Never.
No.
Right? They're like, yo, I didn't do that. And I'm sorry you feel as though I did, but I really didn't do that, and I'm sorry.
A lot of times people just have this cry out for help and they don't know how. That's why I think when you said earlier about therapy is so important, because everybody needs therapy. You need somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of times, there's an inner being that's crying out for help but don't know how to get the help, or don't know how to express herself, or have the emotional intelligence to be able to do things, right? To be able to have great coping skills. So a lot of times, and then that trickle down to our kids too, because we scream and yelling at our kids, and then we mad when they scream and yelling at us back. Well, you done taught them how to do that. But I think I love the fact that, even though there's so many challenges come up against you, even in a radio station, like, I'm in here, and I get to hear and have conversation with you. But one thing, what I love about you and your spirit is that you keep pushing forward. You won't let it die. No. This is your dream. Yeah. And I think about some of the great people who didn't let, Martin Luther King, who I had a dream, like, even though he was taken out, but his dream is still going forward. Like, he literally, we celebrate that man even in his death. Absolutely. And that be celebrated even in your death, that means you made a great impact when you was alive. Like, we ain't talk about, no negative stuff we talk about the impact that you made in your life. And I think that's so important to just keep pushing, because even if we don't see certain things today, we might not even be here to see what God has in store for, the vision that we put forward, right? Like the generational and legacy that we put forward. So I tell any parents out there, listen, you got a dream, you want your kids to, you have a particular, you want your kids to live. You don't want them to, live like you've lived, or you want them better than you are. You got to put the effort into yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
It start with you. It start with us.
You can't be a do as I say and not as I am parent. And that's who I was.
Yeah. Right? That's how most of us was, Pete. That's how we grew up. Like, that's
how I was. But I was doing it to the point where, I remember the first time my daughters and my son, they took money out of my pants, to take to school. They was taking big money to school too. They wasn't taking no tens. They was taking every morning. I woke up. I said, "Yo, I could have sworn I had on mine." All right, well, I ain't never paid no mind. And that's how most of the people that were around me that were young were. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like my godson, he tore me up. You feel me? Like to the point where now he don't speak to me, but I love him nonetheless. Yesterday was his birthday, so happy birthday, Q. But like my daughters, they did the same thing. They went in my pants pocket. I did the same thing to my mom. Right. So I had to explain that to him. I said, "Oh, I'm not mad at y'all because I did it to my mom. So it's supposed to come back. It comes back. Understand, God has a way of bringing right back to you. You feel me? If you ever did anything to anybody, it's going to be your turn one day." Right. I remember being down under the Commodore Barry Bridge, gun on my head, butt naked. You feel me? Y'all going to pull the trigger or what's up? Well, we ain't never seen you down here. I'm not from down here. I'm not. And if you ever want to rob anybody else, just hit me up, and I'll help you do that. Right?
I cannot.
Like literally, I could say what needed to be said at that time. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, all right, man, put your clothes on. You can go.
Right.
You feel me?
Man, God is like, it's crazy though, because to think about all the things that we go through in life and experiences that we have, and then where God has us set up where we are now. Just like some things, I don't know, Pete, before we close out, when you were really young, like I know you said that you want to do radio and everything, but when you were really young, did you think that you would have your own radio station now?
No. And like I said, it's many paths to your destination. Mm-hmm. I see CMP as a training ground for young people to be able to come here and learn how to be a radio podcast, learn how to tell their story with love, learn how to communicate, right? Yeah. Somebody come here and then they fall in love with radio, or somebody is seen and they get picked up, and people, like there are tons of people out there, right, that are watching lives all the time looking for people, right? So hopefully one day somebody gets picked up off this joint. Not saying it has to be me, but it could be someone else. And guess what? That's my dream.
Yeah.
You feel me? So if that happens for somebody, guess where I am? I'm happy.
Right.
I didn't create this for me solely. You know what I mean? So this is a community operation. You feel me? If I get more people to come here and help me out at the radio station, I let whoever want to come through here and help. If they don't stay, that's because they got to make money.
Right.
Trust me, they ain't leaving because I did anything to them. They got to go make money, right? They can't sit up here and play around all day. You feel me? They can't be in the house. You in the house and your husband see you at the radio station all day. He going to feel some type way. You ain't doing nothing here. Why you always over there? Right?
Right.
And it's not that he's mad at me. He's mad at the fact that you don't see that maybe you got to go get a job. Yeah. Maybe you need to cut down the amount of hours you spend here, the amount of things that you're doing for here, right? That's life, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like time is the greatest deceiver because it makes you think you have enough and you don't. Mm-hmm. I have enough. Oh, I can do it later. I'll wake up tomorrow and you don't.
You know, when we were younger, they used to have that quote, why put off what you could do tomorrow? Wait,
what you could do today
put off
tomorrow.
Yeah. And, yeah, I remember that growing up. And that's so true, though, because it's like you don't even know about tomorrow. Mm-mm. Like, there's so many things that's happening, and just knowing that, listen, if I can do this, if I have this in my willpower to do today, let's just get it done. Yeah. So. All right, well, it's been a pleasure. It's been real.
It's definitely been real, and I appreciate it.
I definitely, I love having a conversation with you, and I wanted the people really hear your heart and, Absolutely. You know, the things, the transformation that you made in your life, you know. I'm
not done yet, though.
I know.
You got to understand, life is so many twists and turns in it, right? You think you've accomplished this, but you got so much more you got to accomplish, so much more you have to apologize for, so much more you have to be accountable for. I have to be accountable to, you know, every woman that I've ever ran across, bro. Because at some point I was lying about who I was.
Right.
At some point I didn't love myself. And like I said, if I don't love myself, how the hell could I love you?
You can't.
You feel me? So, you know, don't be mad at me because I'm a little off. You feel me? Because I'm going through some things, but I have to apologize, right? And when I apologize, that doesn't mean I'm doing it so I don't have to hear anything, but once you say you forgive me and you cool, there's no reason for us to go back and visit that in the past anymore. Because now we living in the past, and I can't do anything living in the past. Right. The past is done already.
Yeah, you gotta keep moving forward and apologize, shake it off, and keep it moving.
The present and the future is where I am, right? So you know, let's see how we can make it better, right? Yeah. How can I make it better? So that's all I want.
All right. Well, you heard it from here, CMP Radio. This is Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janelle. Remember, we want to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting. And remember, it may not, you know, parents are the bows, children are arrows, and they're going to land, as you see, having a conversation with P today, right? There's some, you know, I'm quite sure a lot of where he's landed now is really strength from his dad, as he talked about, you know, even only having 12 years of his life with him, that there are some seeds that's sown that's producing fruit right now. So we as parents, we got to make sure that we're sowing the proper seeds, you know. May not look like it today, but that fruit will produce. So just sow some good seeds out there so our children can produce much fruit. Thank you. Everybody, my name is Donna, also known as Donna Janelle, CEO and founder of Parenting with a Purpose. Our strive here at the podcast is to reach every home, whether it's single moms, married, single dads, whatever it is, foster parents, whatever, just bringing the ownership and responsibility and nobility back into parenting. Get comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. All parents need some help and guidance, and I'm just here to be a guide.